Hi, this is Gregory Giannakavo. Today I'm going to talk to you about being on target. Actually, I'm going to talk to you about focusing and how a little bit off focus of where you're headed can really make you miss your mark. For example, there was a rule called, I think it's 1 in 60 is what they call it in aeronautics, and it's used for when you're guiding a plane, you're flying a plane, and also for boats too. And we had a boat in Florida. Let's say you're going to head to Bahamas. From Florida, I think it's about 90 miles. The thing is that there's a compass guide in front of you, and you're supposed to keep it on a certain point of direction, so many degrees on a point of direction, so you get where you think you're going. The problem is if you're off by 1 degree, you're going to miss your mark by a mile or more. You'll just be waving at the Bahamas as you go past it. And if you're in a fog, you won't see it at all. And the same with in airplanes when you're flying, so that after about 60 miles, you're going to be 1 mile off target if you're only off by 1 degree. Now, 1 degree doesn't seem like much, does it? If you were planning to go somewhere with 1 degree, temperature, what's the temperature today? 1 degree doesn't seem like much, but it's sort of like a business. If you're off by 1 degree, if you're off by one little bit, you can pedal as fast as you want to go, you can pour some more fuel on, and you know what? You're going to be waving at the Bahamas. You're going to be missing the Bahamas as you fly by. You're not going to get to where you're going because you didn't make adjustments along the way. Again, like business. So I'm just telling you that you need to really focus, and then you need to keep your eye on that compass. When we were driving the boat, it was very easy to just enjoy the time on the boat and enjoy the scenery and the company and the friends you had with you. But if you weren't keeping your eye on that compass, you'd find yourself that all of a sudden it said like 67 degrees instead of 66 degrees or 65 degrees. It was very easy to be off by 4 degrees, and I don't even know if we'd see the Bahamas to wave to it if we did that. So while you're building your business, you need to keep checking your compass. You need to check that compass and readjust all the time. Airplanes have to do it, boats have to do it. The only thing that keeps us straight in a car is that we've got some lines to follow. Otherwise, the same thing. We'd be off by we'd miss our target. You think you're going to Boston, you'd end up in wherever that other place is near Boston that's not Boston. You'd miss it by a few miles, depending how far away you were driving. So if you're in business for the long haul, you're going to be driving more than 60 miles in your business, to use that as a literate, to allude to that. There's an airplane right now. Yeah, he's off by a couple degrees. Anyways, if you're off by a couple degrees, and it's very easy to do that in business, look at all the things that come against you. I mean, airplanes have tailwinds, and you've got winds when you're on a boat, and you've got water currents and everything else. But in a business, you have the same thing. You have headwinds, you have tailwinds, you have crosswinds, you have things that go bump in the night. So you need to keep checking your compass. So I just encourage you, have your plans laid out for your business. You know, it's not popular so much to think of mission statements and to think of business plans. Oh, who needs those anymore? We're not planning for 5 years. Now is today's economy. We're fast, high technology. We don't need, I'm telling you, you should do it anyway. You may not need a 45-page business plan like we used 2 years ago, or a 16-page one when I went to borrow $10 million to borrow money to build a shopping center. But you ought to have a few pages of plans. You ought to have at least 2 years worth of financials where you're going to have to update them all the time. But it gives you an idea that if things were going to work according to plan, this is what would happen. And that's how you can check to see how far off you are on what your plans were. Are you on target, or are you off 1 degree, 5 degrees, 10 degrees? You won't even be waving at the Bahamas, so to speak, in a business sense. So I liken it sort of like a flight plan. You know, you're not allowed in North America, you're not allowed to leave an airport unless you file a flight plan. They want to know if you're leaving, where are you going, how you expect to get there, what are your waypoints along the way. And then you get your beacon numbers so you can have your transponder going, at least up until recently. A lot of things are moving to GPS, but you still have to track things to make sure you're on track. And as you're doing that, it keeps you on track, and that way you know when you're off, you can adjust a little bit. If your business is off track a little bit, you can adjust a little bit. Sales aren't what they should be, and maybe you need to focus on something to keep those sales up. Otherwise, you could just be flying blindly, as we say, and you're flying blindly, and you're just going to miss all your targets. So I think just like an airplane has to follow a flight plan, you should have a business plan. And as you need to check your waypoints along the way and keep adjusting with your compass, like we did on the boat, we had to keep adjusting our position to make sure we were going to get to where we planned to go. I think you should have that with your business too. You'd have some sort of an idea. Even if you don't have it all projected out into these fancy spreadsheets, you ought to have some idea of what your costs are you should have a good idea about what your costs are and what your revenue is and your gross margin, so you can keep tracking it as you go along. And if things blow up on you and they're going really badly, then you'll know. Otherwise, you're just going to be real excited about running a business, which I've been there. It's exciting. And, well, sometimes it's not even exciting, but it takes a lot of time. And so you're pedaling away as fast as you can, and you're still going to be off target. So create a mission statement. Do some business planning. Just like an airplane files a flight plan. Keep checking it as you go along, and don't be off your 1 degree, 2 degree, 4 degrees. If you do, you'll be working really hard, and you're not going to get to your destination. You could run out of fuel, cash. So just like an airplane, you don't want to run out of fuel because you haven't paid attention to anything. Leave it on autopilot, fall asleep, and find out that you overshot your waypoints, you overshot where you're going to go. It's easy to do in a business. I've had it happen some months. Let me tell you, it's not a fun thing. It's not pleasant. And then you really need to paddle to bring in the extra fuel, the extra cash to keep your business going, and you don't want to spend your energy on that. All right, so I guess my word for the day is keep track of things. Don't get off course. When you do, bring it back. You're going to automatically get off course. An airplane or a boat, if you just let it fly, it's going to get off course. You've got all these different, like I said, winds, crosswinds, things are going to happen. So you need to keep adjusting all along the way. You need to do that with your business. I know you think you put things on autopilot and you've got all this software and everything's automated and it's so easy to start in business. How can things go wrong? They can go wrong. So keep checking things, keep tuned up. That's my word for the day, that you track things carefully. Stay focused, and you can be successful. Thanks very much. I appreciate it. You can, share this video, follow me, that kind of thing. Thanks a lot.